Hi there, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Canceling COVID, where we keep you and your family safe during the pandemic. In this safe space, you get real resources to address your COVID concerns and, of course, your questions. We are so grateful on this Friday that you've taken the time to join us. And, of course, we're grateful for our sponsors, Mecklenburg County Public Health, mecnc.gov, mecnc.gov, or you are welcome to call 980-314-9400. 980-314-9400, an opportunity for you to have a conversation, especially if you're quite not sure or just not certain about some of the information that you're receiving, what you're hearing. They are offering their services to answer those questions for you. Also, we've got a sponsor in Groundwater Solutions. Dr. Tracia Black and Groundwater Solutions have been a key role, key partner in everything that we've been able to provide. They're out and about in the community, consistently testing and providing valuable information. And hopefully we'll have them on later today. Typically they're on Wednesdays, but we had to switch up some things because we had a big announcement this past Wednesday about COVID in color on Impact Network. I'll mention that again before the half hour is up. Now, new today, a pill to fight COVID-19. That's some exciting news for some people who prefer to take a pill and not have to be bothered with the needle. Merck has created what would become the first oral antiviral for COVID. The drug maker says the pill reduces the risk of death or hospital stay by half. That's some huge news, folks, and hopefully that will probably, maybe, possibly help move the needle on some people that are still a little hesitant. Well, people right now that haven't taken the vaccine are a whole lot hesitant. Let me just make sure I put that in perspective. But it's now up to the FDA to issue an emergency authorization for this. And so let's talk about a question of the day. How do you feel knowing a COVID-19 treatment pill is in the works? Interesting question, as well as I'd love to get your feedback on that. Are you open to taking the pill? And do you think that more people will now be ready to go ahead and do what is necessary? I think it's always great when you have options. So now there may be an opportunity for more people who would possibly be interested in getting back into the swing of things and not being as resistant to the vaccine. Here's a pill. So drop your comments in the chat. Again, how do you feel knowing a pill is available now or is in the works to treat COVID-19? I would love, again, to hear your comments. I see you all hopping on, so go ahead, say hi, share your comments, and please comment, that is, on our question of the day. Now, here's someone I've known for quite some time. You know, we work really hard to bring you really great guests that have resources and that can assist you as we continue to navigate this pandemic. And this person is a business consultant. She's not a stranger to me. Here at Canceling COVID, we bring you tools that you need to not only keep you and your family safe, but to build a healthier future and also one that's stronger financially. So here's someone that's been at it for some time. The economy, as it continues to recover, there are new opportunities and benefits for owning a small business. I want to welcome none other than LaPronda Span. She is going to join us and give you some really good information. LaPronda is a part of Lane Consulting, and she's been at this for quite some time. Hey, LaPronda, how you doing this
I'm
afternoon?
good. I'm good, Tonya. How are you?
Good, good, good. So good to see you. It's been a while, but I always bump into you. And
Yes.
of course, we go way back, and it's so good
Yes.
to have you joining the show. Let's talk about some major help that's in the works for minority and women owned businesses. Just this week, the North Carolina Small Business Impact Grant Program, also known as Retool, they started accepting applications again. And can you kind of talk about what that grant is providing?
Sure. So, as you know, COVID impacted so many small businesses. Many had to temporarily shut down, many never recovered and did shut down. And so, Retool North Carolina was a grant that was established um, by the governor in partnership with the North Carolina Hub Office, Carolina Small Business Development Fund, and the Institute to make sure that minority and women owned business especially received grants, because when SBA opened up EIDL and PPP originally, many were not getting the support that they needed. And so this was a way to
So, LaPronda, I
financial
don't know if you
support
can
that they
hear
need.
me. So you're freezing up just a little bit. So I don't know if you can shift a little or whatever
Oh,
might help you out. Yeah, it just froze on it. You know, I had to do a hard wire in my studio. So hopefully we don't lose you. Right there at the end, you said that they're opening it up, and that the hub, I believe is what you said on the back end, is offering this assistance. I'm not sure who's phone's going off. That's mine, everybody, even though I have it on silent. So, but back to what you were saying, I hopefully I didn't throw you off. This grant is obviously very essential to everyone in business, and it's great to see that Retool is probably kind of really doing exactly what it's saying, kind of retooling, getting everybody back to where we can at least attempt to get back to business as usual. We know it'll never be the same. But one major
Right.
requirement for that grant and others we're seeing is that a business has to be Hub or DBE certified. Now, I'm familiar with a Hub, the acronym, but what about DBE? Can you go through that and then kind of tell us what that means, and how do you help businesses get those certifications?
Sure. So DBE stands for Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. The North
Okay.
Carolina Department of Transportation actually awards that certification for minority and women owned businesses. And in this case, it is white women owned businesses that can apply for that certification. And
Okay.
so my company has been working with small business owners to get them certified. And essentially, what that is it's paperwork, it's an application process along with required documents. And most of the time, an online vendor profile that you would have to create to be vetted by the government and ensure that your application is processed to receive what we call an approval letter. At that point, you will be designated as a minority owned or a white woman owned business. And for the Department of Transportation, is Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. We've been providing the services to small business owners for a number of years now, simply because we learned that this was a niche that nobody was addressing. Nobody was really advocating for small businesses and assisting them with getting the certification so that they can go into this portal and really be for government and corporate contracts. So that is the premise behind certification.
And thank you for clarifying that. And I want to clarify something that I said earlier, talking about the pill. It's not a vaccine. It's going to be used for treatment to help cut down the hospital stay and other things. So hopefully I didn't mislead anyone on that. I see. I want to pause for our first comment. She thinks it's good to have the pill as an option. It might help with those who don't care for taking shots. So Erica, let me correct myself right now. I misled you. I had wrong information. The pill is not a substitute for the vaccine. It's actually for treatment. So hopefully it will still help cut down on the hospital stay as well as eliminate people that end up transitioning. And that's something that we certainly don't want people to leave this earth prematurely. So thank you for the note. That note came in from my producer. How difficult or how long is the process of getting DBE or Hub certified?
So both processes, because of the pandemic, has taken a little longer than normal. Typically, you would get certification from North Carolina Hub within 30 days or less. And
Hmm.
from the Department of Transportation, it's typically a longer process. It typically would take at least 90 days. For North Carolina Hub, because this grant is available, they have streamlined the certification process. And as long as they reduce the amount of information that you have to submit along with the application, and typically, if you complete the application, the required documents that they're requesting, and enter your information and create an online vendor profile on their site, they are turning those certification approval letters around in 24 to 48 hours
Wow, that's
to make
impressive.
sure because you need that approval letter to get the grant, to apply for the grant.
Well, it's good to hear somebody's actually working because everywhere else you go, you gotta wait, hold on the phone, hold on, get your
Right.
information.
That's
Nothing's
true.
moving quickly anymore.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. Now, what
Yes.
about let's talk about the certifications. Are they available to make a business more competitive for funding? Is that kind of the mindset behind it?
It's not necessarily for funding. It's really around opportunities to do business with government agencies and major corporations. And so, if you are looking to diversify your revenue, you may be a business owner that works with other small businesses or works with customers and clients, but you want to diversify your revenue and have government as a client or major corporations as a client. That certainly can be an anchor to a business because you get a government contract and many contracts are 1 year, they can be 6 months, but a lot of times they can be 3 to 5 years depending on what you're doing. So again, it's about the services, the trades, the specialties that you offer, and just getting the certification to get in the game, and then learning about the process to position yourself for success in this space. It can really make a difference in how you grow your company, hire employees, and really sustain your company long term. And
It
I'm a witness of that because I was able to do it using government contracts.
Wow. And you know what, LaPronda, it sounds like it could be a real game changer for a lot of businesses. And who doesn't need that right now after what we've had to struggle through
Sure.
to get to this point? So that's good to hear. So walk us through the technical assistance and support that you provide for business owners pursuing grants.
Sure. So technically, North Carolina Hub um, hired a number of consultants to make sure that they got the word out to small business owners, especially if they were already in the North Carolina Hub and the North Carolina Department of Transportation's portals. So they were assigning folks to make sure that that information was received by small business owners. However, many got missed on that. So, as a support to small businesses who may have missed it, and of course, I have my own clientele, I made sure that we sent the information out. We told them what documents they needed to prepare to, put in place so that they can apply for the grant. You had to be in business around 2019. So if you went into business after 2019, technically you are not eligible. You have to have things like your 2019 tax return, your North Carolina Hub certification letter or DBE certification letter. You will need a bank avoided check because that's how they'll deposit the money. You have to have the routing number and the um, uh, uh, what is the assigned vendor number. And there are other few things that you need, your driver's license and things of that nature, but it's simple things that you should have already in place. And the beauty is, if you submit that information, you're looking at a minimum of $10,000 and a maximum of $25,000, depending on the expenses of revenue that you had in 2019.
Wow, that's some great information. So thanks for providing that. Would you say you're seeing more opportunities or a lot less for small business funding now during the pandemic? Because Lord knows you don't want to talk to me about small business and this SBA fiasco that I've had to deal with a business that I've had since 2003. I am not going to go there. I just want to say there's funding out there, but they really, really I don't like how they're trying to use making sure everything is in order as a process of eliminating, discouraging, especially, and don't even think about. I said I wasn't going there, didn't I? Okay.
You
Don't even
did.
think about. Let me just say, don't even think about trying to call them. You'll get a different story from everyone. So please, can you tell me, are you seeing more opportunities or less for funding?
So I actually have seen a little less. I think they're starting to trickle back and open back up now. At the
Mm-hmm.
height of the pandemic, the goal was really to sustain small businesses at the time. And
Right.
yes, we knew that SBA and PPP was a disaster for many people. And the
Mm-hmm.
value of this retool grant was the fact that North Carolina Hub saw an issue with that. And so they made it a point to really support small, diverse businesses. Hopefully, it will open back up. But I hope that it's not at the expense of another shutdown because we keep
Right.
hearing about new variants popping up and all these COVID outbreaks as children start going back to school. And so we're hoping that that's not the case. We also hope that the infrastructure bill that it's always this disaster in Washington, D.C., and them
Yeah.
negotiating to make things happen will really start to see more funding come in that way, but also more government contracting and corporate contracting because monies are being released to each state, who in turn releases to many cities and counties and towns. So right now, not as much, but definitely at the height of it last year.
Well, Annie Allison hopped on. She said great information and explained thoroughly. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for hopping on, Miss Allison. We appreciate that. And LaPronda, for people that are interested, do they have to be a client of yours? We had put your website up before. How can people find out? I mean, do they have to be a client to enter and try to get this information together?
No, so if they call and want to be a client, then we can certainly support them to first get the certification if they're not certified. And if they are certified, then we can definitely assist them by us, helping them to complete the application, uploading their documents to ensure that they get a lot of this information. We don't want people to miss out. And I know there's been a lot of misconceptions about, is this a hoax or is it not a hoax? I can tell you firsthand that it's not a hoax. I got Retool North Carolina. I actually got $16,400 to sustain
Wow.
my business last year. I've had several clients that got between $20,000 and $25,000. So it's not a hoax and it is a grant. They are not asking you to pay it back, but it has to be used for the business. not some of the stories that we've heard in the news where people are going out and buying cars and all these other things. So, but yes, it really is. They can reach me at laneconsultingllc.com. If you click on that small business services tab, and you can schedule an appointment, contact me. We can talk through what it is that you're trying to do and hopefully support you in getting some of this monies. The monies will go fast, so I would say don't hesitate. Make sure that you reach out soon.
Well, I'm a small business owner myself, LaPronda, and we
Yes,
go
you
way
are.
back. I can't ever remember everybody that I have relationships with, but I'll be in touch for sure. Hopefully, you can
Awesome.
drop in. I'll reach out to you, and I'm glad you're providing that information because it is frustrating. I will say this:
It is.
legitimate businesses, when they see other businesses just piling it on, but you reap what you sow, and you just kind of have to sit back and say, okay, at some point they will be held accountable because of a lot of funding that has just been given away, and a lot of it, some people, they are not legitimate, and we know that's going to happen, so you can't get bogged down with that. So I certainly
Right.
appreciate you sharing, and that's why a lot of the mistrust, though, and the distrust has kind
Mhm.
of crept in the process, because it's like, wait a minute, this stuff, you guys aren't, really, it's like it's a free fall for those that aren't legit, and for those that
Right.
are, it can be a struggle. So thank
Right.
you again for joining us,
No,
LaPronda
thank
Span.
you for
See,
having me.
absolutely. What we try to do is provide, real information, real resources from, I was looking back through my notes, from people who you can trust, who are
Yes.
knowledgeable, and people that show empathy. And you've certainly done all that. And so we appreciate it. And thank you again
Thank
for
you.
taking the time. Good to talk to you too,
You.
LaPronda.
You.
Okay. Absolutely. LaPronda, wow, it must have been 2007 when I met her, and she was such a blessing to me. And it's good to see good people still out serving and helping in the community. Well, North Carolina now has more than 4,700 new COVID-19 cases. There are currently 2,943 COVID patients in the hospitals. And I want to share this. The state is reporting that more than 16,000 total deaths have occurred. So back to the pill again that I misrepresented. It is certainly not an alternative to the vaccination, but it is an opportunity to cut down on the hospital stay and hopefully to stop people from transitioning, which we're seeing way too much of that. So I'd love to see how you feel as you're hopping on. How do you feel knowing that there's a COVID-19 treatment pill that's in the works? What are your thoughts on it? Um, I mean, I would hope, well, I couldn't imagine anything but being encouraged, inspired by that. But talking about encouragement and being inspired, here's another conversation with a group that I really enjoy, which is Groundwater Solutions. And we've got Earl Owens the third, who's going to join us today as we talk about some of the things that are happening in the community. Typically, we have Dr. Tracia Black. Earl Owens is joining us in place of Dr. Black. And you were here on Wednesday. I apologize. I believe that was you that made the comment in the chat, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. So you weighed in before we go. Was that you that made the comment on Wednesday?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because I do want to acknowledge that. And what happened is someone just hopped on and said, we need more information. They're trying to poison our people. And your response to that was,
Well, what he actually said was stop poisoning the kids, monsters. That's
okay.
what that was the comment was. And I just and so what I got from that is the stuff that's being put out on the dark web.
Right, right.
The misinformation that's being provided, to our community members, and and it's disheartening because first and foremost, I know what it's like to know someone that passed away from COVID-19. I
Wow.
work in a field where we provide COVID-19 testing as well as vaccination to the African American and Brown communities. So I know firsthand what that looks like and what the results are. Yes,
So I'm pretty
this is
impressed.
something new.
I'm impressed that you remember the quote exactly. It really struck a nerve with you. I just tried to summarize it and what it said. And to your point, it was just released yesterday that another student, an elementary student, has just passed away from COVID-19. And to the point again, one of my neighbors in Cornelius, Smithville, that I grew up with, just passed away from it as well. So it is disheartening and it's just unfortunate. But what are you doing to protect yourself, and what else can we do as a community?
So Tuesday, I just got my booster shot.
Okay.
So I'm fully invested. I'm fully invested in vaccination and overall health, which is, you know, what Groundwater Solutions Genesis Project One does. You know, we have created a space where you can get whole wellness right here, from behavioral health, vaccination, COVID testing daily. We just brought a doctor on board. You know, so we want to bring the collaborative care to our communities, which is what we're doing now. So we do have mobile units along with mobile labs that are coming to communities throughout the communities in Charlotte, in North Carolina, as well as we also do what's known as home vaccination and testing, meaning that we will come to your home. If you don't have transportation, if you're have a problem with maybe coming to a site, you know, we will come to your home and provide these services for you, because, you know, it's kind of hard to provide a service that you don't believe in, right?
That's true. And that's hard. And
Yeah.
you got people that are hesitant, like really, I don't even think they're hesitant anymore. They're just, I'm not going, I'm not doing it. So what can the community do? What can we do, you know, as a community right now?
So, and again, I'm stressing the fact that we'll come to your home. If you have an issue with people seeing you get the vaccination, if you want this service to be private, then we'll come to your home. You can come to our office. Our office is open Monday through Friday from 10 to 4:30, Monday through Thursday, and on Friday from 10 to 1. So you can come get vaccinated, you can come get tested, you can get travel tested, and then we're out in the community.
Okay.
We also are at 1000 Anderson Avenue in Charlotte at the school, you know, where we're participating with the Mecklenburg County of Elders, where we're providing testing for younger people and mothers, single mothers, you know, and other community members that have those questions, where you can actually talk to us, you can approach us, and we can talk about getting vaccinated and what the advantages are, maybe what the ramifications may be, and how you can help provide assistance in your community.
And you guys
You know,
actually hired some ambassadors as well. Let's talk about the question of the day also, the potential breakthrough in COVID-19 treatments, now that Merck is saying it has developed a pill that would cut COVID-19 deaths in half, and deaths and hospitalizations. What do you want? What do you think when you hear that?
so what I think about that is, this is 2021.
Mm-hmm.
You know, science is extremely advanced. You know, back when polio was out, yeah, it took them quite a few years to develop a vaccination for that.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have to go through that now. So when them pills become available, I'm sure that we'll have them available too, because I feel like that anything that's going to stop me from dying,
Right.
I'm going to invest in it.
I agree. I agree. So FEMA
And
is
I
sending. Go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off.
and I promote that, to anyone I come in contact with.
I can hear the passion, and I appreciate that. So FEMA is sending 5 ambulances and 10 staff members to Mecklenburg County to help our EMS teams. They've been bombarded with emergency calls. Now,
Yes.
do you think that right there alone doesn't mean anything to people when they hear that? And I'm talking about people that are still saying it's not real.
Yeah, they don't care anything about that.
Okay, so it really
They only,
doesn't
they,
matter. And I've heard that before. You can quote all the facts that you want, but if you're not really interested in hearing them, you can just kind of shut down. And
you know, I don't even think it's about an interest, to be honest with you, Tonya. I think it's about buying into a belief.
Okay.
You know, buying into a belief, you know, that somebody has sold to you. You know, it's just like going in the store and buying a loaf of bread. Are you going to get Wonder Bread? Are you going to get Sara Lee? You know, are you going to get natural oats? You know, and if somebody else told you that natural oats is healthy for you, then you're going to go buy natural oats.
I got you. I got you.
You
Well,
know, so
let's talk about the other big headline. You said you've just gotten yours. It's, of course, talking about booster shots. Nearly 2.8 million people in the United States have already received the COVID-19 booster shot. Are you guys right now providing those shots, or do you have a date of when you'll be able to start providing them to the community as well?
Yeah, I want to say next week we'll have the booster.
Oh,
Um,
wow. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Dr. Black has done phenomenal things with the state
Oh,
in
you don't have to
terms of
tell me. I know she's
right, right,
working.
right.
Yeah.
So you know, yeah. So we're whatever if it's COVID related and if it's going to assist the community, we're going to have it at least to be able to offer it to our community members because that's what we do. I mean, before COVID, we're a behavioral health agency right here in the community, and
Hmm.
so once COVID-19 hit, Dr. Black figured out a way how to provide that service as well for our community. So
Well, that's good to hear. That's great to hear because you're right. Your guys are out in the community every day. As a matter of fact, where are your teams out today? I know you just said you were on Anderson out with the Council of Elders at the school. You didn't give the name, which is fine. You're always giving the vaccine and testing at the office location. What other places? Are there any other locations today?
So I know yesterday they were in Raleigh. Today, I believe they're up towards Henderson, Halifax County, up in the 5 county areas where the state has asked us, to frequent on a regular basis.
Right.
So the 9th, the 16th, the 23rd, and the 28th, we will be at 1000 Anderson, which will provide COVID testing and vaccination at those events. So whenever the Mecklenburg Council of Elders have an event,
Right.
then we're also included in that event. So we'll be there to provide that testing and vaccination for any and everyone that wants to come and join the community in this effort to stop the virus.
So, as we wrap things up with you, Earl, is there anything else that you would like to share with closing remarks?
So I just want everybody out there that's listening and watching, that if you really want to help with this COVID-19 thing, get vaccinated, become a part of the solution.
Thank you so much, Earl Owens, Groundwater Solutions, and of course, groundwater-solutions.org. They are no strangers to our show. They are a partner, and we're glad to have the relationship. And thank you again for taking the time to talk to us, Earl. Enjoy your weekend. Hey, one quick question. On the booster shot, did you have any side effects at all? I'm sure people, sore arm, any
So,
of that?
so,
What?
so all throughout the day I was fine until later on that evening. My arm is still a little sore now.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't have any, no symptoms as far as feeling like I was coming down with the flu or anything like that. Just a sore arm.
Okay, good to know. I'm sure somebody out there is thinking that question as well. So
Yeah,
again,
they
thank
were
you.
doing. Oh, yeah, they were doing it out on Independence, and I have to say there was quite a turnout there too.
That's good. That is great. But I've seen reports that people who are on board with the vaccine don't have a problem with the booster shot. They realize it's just a part of the process and they're okay with that. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. And thank you for taking the time to join us. Make sure you have a wonderful weekend, Mr. Owens.
You too. Thank you, Tonya.
Absolutely. So, a couple of other headlines to share with you guys as we start to head towards our 30-minute mark. Those headlines is looks like that's it for me. I do have one of the things I mentioned, and it's not a laughing matter, is where a student from CMS, a young student, did pass away from COVID. The name hasn't been released. There isn't any reason for that. What's really important is to know that we're losing too many people. We're losing our babies. We're losing mothers. I'm seeing all these reports I saw one of a parent upon delivery of her child. She lost it because of concern about if you're pregnant and whether you should get the vaccine or not. And I think about one of the doctors I've had, Dr. Jacobs, who said, you know, have the conversation with your doctor. Your doctor can tell you what he feels is the best route for you. You got to trust someone. Just don't take their word for it, but talk and find out the facts. And that's why I'm grateful for our sponsors, because Groundwater Solutions and Mecklenburg County Public Health, their whole position as well is, talk to us. We'll hold this conversation and be glad to provide information. Also, just reminding you again, COVID in Color is going to be on Impact Network. It's going to be on this Sunday at 11:30. Impact Network is like the Black TBN, and Bishop Jackson. They've worked really hard to maintain a voice for our community, and we're just excited to see what this town hall is going to be about. That's why Jasmine Sanders was on Wednesday, and of course, we're excited to see how our role here at Canceling COVID will play into that. That's the national publication, syndication, participation that we've been talking about. Of course, I'll see you on this Sunday, 7 a.m. Sounds of Inspiration. Make sure you hop on. I'm on a 1033, 100.5. Again, that's at 7 a.m., bringing you inspiration and information. As always, life's challenges make you better, not bitter. It's a nice day outside. We've been having some great weekends, great weather, so make sure you take advantage of that. Again, thank you, Mecklenburg County Public Health, mecnc.gov, mecnc.gov. I'm not exactly sure. It's not showing up just yet. That's okay. I say it enough. And of course, Groundwater Solutions for your support. Have a great weekend, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Oh, and be sure and share. Let the conversation continue. If you've hopped on, and even if you didn't comment, just hit the share button so other people can see that we've got great information that we're providing. Thanks, everyone.